Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back. It's a new year. It's 2019, which means it's a new Supreme pool series. We're here for event one. I'm joined by Lee Kendall. We're just going to do a quick preview of today's action. What's your thoughts? A new year's upon us. We really worked hard and been anticipating this one.
Yeah, it's been a lot of hard work, as it always is every year. It's the second year. I think we've done really well to again bring a great product to market. Got people from all around the world. Morocco, Malta. We're going to get some French players over for the next event, and also the faces are back. Liam Dunsu won the grand final. Scott Gillespie won 2 last time, and also Phil Harrison won 2. So
yeah, and
Mikkel's in Australia at the moment, but he'll be back. So it's going to be good.
Yeah, so obviously you've mentioned a few names there. There's the obvious favourites from last year, but with the new players coming in, obviously Steve Petty coming back.
Yeah.
Who are your personal favourites? How do you think they're going to come into the series? Come in all guns blazing?
It'll be interesting because you play at the highest level. There's no better place to play. You've got all the best players here, so. I don't know. We'll see how good the new breed are. That the Stephen Petty's, he is a great player. He's sort of cleaned up on the Hearts tour, but now he's in the big fish with all the best players playing together. So I like Steve's game, so I'd like to see him to do well. And
the players that probably would be unknown to a lot of the wider audience, some of the Maltese that are coming in. Yeah. Obviously, we've got Jake McCartney coming across from Australia. He's not going to make that journey lightly, is he? No,
and I know he's had the cloth. He's got a Supreme table over there, and he's practicing on that, where they play on a different table. So he's put the time in, and he isn't coming over here to lose. I'm sure he'll tell you that.
Yeah. Moving forward to action in the first match, it's going to be Chris Melling against Callum Singleton. What are your thoughts on that one? Interesting matchup.
Yeah, we did a poll, and the 4 matches that we've got are the 4 streamed ones which we put out there, and we brought that through to this session. So we just put a special session on for everybody. They've played each other quite a lot in this season, at least 2 or 3 times, and I don't think there's much between. I think Chris got it last time, I think Callum got it the time before, so it's going to be a tough match for either of them.
For sure, yeah. I think Callum a very gritty, determined opponent for Chris. It's a hard start for both of them.
He's a very talented boy. He's a very talented boy. I've seen a lot of him. He won the World Masters. He won't be frightened of Chris Melling, I can assure you. No.
So that's your action coming across on the main table. Across on table 11 is the small affair of Clint Hansen versus Scott Gillespie. That's, as I say, table 11. But table 16, the main arena, which is looking absolutely resplendent, is going to be Chris Melling against Callum Singleton. Join us. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to a new year. A new Supreme Series. You can see in the background the referee just giving the players the rundown of a few pointers. They're looking for the thumbs up to go, and they've got it. And how exciting, the first shots to be played in anger of the 2019 Supreme Pool Series Event 1, the Liberty Games Open. I'm joined on commentary by Adam Penwell for this first game. Good morning, Adam, or good afternoon now, isn't it?
Good afternoon, Nick. How are you doing?
It is indeed, 5-1. Yeah, very good, thanks. Really looking forward to this. It's been building, well, pretty much since last December. We managed to take Christmas off, have a bit of a break, come back in the new year, and it's been all systems go, just trying to make tweaks and improvements to the series. And the arena is just looking incredible. The table in the red wrap looks fantastic. What's your initial thoughts?
Yeah, it looks awesome, doesn't it? It looks really good. Obviously, the red background, that lovely superfine grey cloth, red wrap on the table, and yeah, it looks really good. It doesn't seem like that long ago that we were here, to be honest, does it?
No, I know. It feels like yesterday, but
it does.
Five months ago.
And here we go again. And what a delight for the first match.
Oh, absolutely.
Callum Singleton, Chris Melling.
The poll went up, and I would have said beforehand that for sure it was going to be Scott Gillespie against Clint, but this one took the votes.
There was quite a few. I mean, obviously, Callum against Chris, Jack Whelan against Shane Thompson as well. That's on one of the other stream tables.
Yeah. So just to run you through the basics, it's a race to 11 on the winner's side. It's double elimination. Race to 8 on the loser's side. We are playing on, as Adam mentioned, the grey superfine cloth, which has just recently gone to market. It is now purchasable, and the feedback on the cloth is that it is just excellent, fast, reactive. They're using the shark rack template to rack the balls, so you see that great split that's synonymous with the shark rack. We are playing 2 Supreme rules, so if you're not aware of Supreme rules, we will discuss them as the game goes through. The slight nuances between these and other rule sets. I mean, the basics of the game are put as many balls as you can and get the black down as quickly as possible, a break dish, and then the rules kind of become irrelevant. It
is, yeah, and obviously this weekend the rules aren't going to come into play too much. The only time you tend to find that they will come into play is if the split isn't ideal and there's a couple of balls which are tied up or not in good positions. And the other times they come into play is, for example, if obviously Callum's on yellows here. So let's just say, for example, Callum cleared the yellows but left 1 or 2 up on the table. That's the situation where you might find Chris then using the reds with the Supreme rules. Prime example of that is, let's just imagine the yellow to the bottom left of the table was over the pocket. The opponent is quite within his rights to play the red onto the yellow, pot the yellow, leave the red over the bag. He could snooker the opponent, and the opponent has to play from there.
Yeah, it's just loss of turn, basically.
Loss of turn,
it's not a foul, it's called a tactical shot.
Tactical shot. There's no total snooker, so at any point you're snookered, you've got to come off the rail, or however you do it, you've got to hit your ball and still hit a cushion afterwards.
Yeah. There's a few variations. If you're familiar with Chinese 8-ball, they are similar. If you're familiar with the American APA rules, I think it's APA, they are very similar to that as well. They're widely used across the world, or similar variations to them. And as I say, we'll introduce you as the day goes on, as the weekend progresses. You'll become more familiar with them. A very attacking rule set, you'll find, and what this rule set does, it punishes you for making mistakes. It really punishes you. It's kind of the ultimate punishment when you do make a mistake. It rewards good play, and it punishes bad play. I think that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, it does, and where it's interesting is obviously if you were to foul off the break, for example, and you're going off, then obviously it's ball in hand behind the line, and you just get the one visit. There is no free visit at all.
Yeah.
If the white were to go off the table, then it's ball in hand, one visit, white anywhere on the table. For any other foul in the game, it's one visit, ball in hand, anywhere on the table. So sometimes you'll come to the table after your opponent's fouled, and you've got to make a decision where are you going to go for it and clear them all, or are you going to try and secure the frame? And if you go for it and miss, likewise, you're going to get punished.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to get your views, guys, on who you think is going to be the victor in this opening game, Chris or Callum. Also, I'll ask you the same question, Adam. I mean, a lot of people will probably automatically, as a default, go for Chris because he's more widely known. But Callum, what a dangerous young player this is.
Great player.
I mean, last year he came up against Tom Cousins, got beaten the first time. In the second game, I think he was 7-6 up.
Yeah, should have won.
And should have won. I think he tweaked the black, and then he gave Tom a bit of a sound beating, 11-7, I think, in the third time they met. So this guy, you know, he's a contender. He can really play.
Oh yeah, definitely can play. And I'm gonna chuck it out there. I'm gonna go against the grain, and I'm gonna go for Callum Singleton in this match.
I have to say, if there was a bookie here, I think he's turning up in a couple of hours' time. But if the bookie was here now, I would have. I think Callum would have been the value here.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
I think Chris would have probably been 1-2, and Callum maybe 6-4.
Yeah, I reckon you're right.
And I would have happily backed Callum at that price. So yeah, don't write the young man off. He's very much a contender in this tournament, and a real tough draw for Chris. But Chris, as we know, Chris can pull out some magical pool. So as I say, be interested to get your opinions. Matt D thinks that Melling wins 11-6. Well, we'll see. We'll see. So the first frame goes the way of young Callum with a break dish, and it shows the importance of winning that lag as well. Just, you know, if you can get the good break with the sharp rack, make yourself a tidy clearance. He went about those well as well, didn't he? They were there, but
still got to take them.
First up, got to get your arm going, haven't you? These players do not get the opportunity to have a warm up on the tables before it starts. They're literally in from the cold, straight onto the tables. So, you know, to be able to come in and settle straight away on the arena table, I've got to say, it's quite intimidating. There's probably like seven cameras pointing at you on this table, somewhere around about that kind of number. Yeah, there is
and
seven.
also with
this,
with this cloth being so reactive, even though even though Callum has made that look really, really easy, I've played on these tables lots now, and I was practicing last night, and some of the shots, it's when you need to play a slow, controlled shot, the pace that you can get away with playing it at is really, really slow. It's very easy to lose the white, even though Callum made that look so easy.
Yeah.
It's really easy to lose the white on this cloth. Just a little bit too much reaction, and it grips on the cloth, and the white ball's gone.
So now we turn our attention to Chris as he opens his account, and a lovely, well-timed break, solid on that front ball, and everything in the wide open, apart from the black ball.
Apart from the black.
So yellows are going to be the ball of choice, I would imagine. I could actually see him going reds here, because the fact that he's got to get that black out means he's going to get the reds out at the same time.
No, he's going to go yellows. He'll definitely go yellows. He'll go yellows. The other interesting thing with these rules as well is, and we haven't seen it in either of the two breaks yet, but obviously when you've broken, you've made a ball. Obviously, to be a red or a yellow, you need to then pot a red or a yellow. So there's several occasions last night when we were having a practice, and for example, the reds, you broke off, potted a ball. The reds looked absolute dollies, but the only way you could pot a red, for example, was to play a yellow onto a red. Yeah. And obviously in these rules, you're not allowed to do that.
You're not allowed to do that.
You have to pot the ball that you want to go for.
I mean, you can play that shot as a combo if you make both balls,
Correct.
but you have to be able to, you have to make both balls. If you only make one of the balls,
then it's lost
of turn.
Lost of turn, yeah.
You have to pot the ball that your object ball, basically. So if your object ball is a red, you have to pot that red. If you pot the yellow and then don't make the red, then it's loss of turn. Anyway, Chris making this fairly simple so far. Now he needs to be really careful with this shot. What he wants to do, he wants to contact the red. He can't. Yeah, that was always going to
be the issue.
And I was just didn't quite have time to say it, but I was trying to say he had to make contact with the left-hand side of that red to try and nudge the black out. Otherwise, as soon as that white comes on the right-hand part of that red ball, it was always going to go in behind the pack.
Correct, yeah, correct. And obviously now, he's snookered. As we said earlier, there is no total snooker. So he's now got to hit his yellow and then make contact with the cushion afterwards.
And the reason I said at the top of the frame why I might have actually considered reds is because the red that is closest to the bottom right pocket almost lent itself as the kind of right angle to be able to come in and nudge that pack of three open. And in getting the black out, he was going to release those reds anyway. So why not attack
I think the reason
reds?
I think the reason he didn't go reds is if you just sort of cast your mind back about 45 seconds, the two reds that we can see now on the left side of the table, obviously in front of those there was a yellow.
Yeah.
So obviously there was a red there that also didn't go. So obviously in Chris's mind, all he had to do was develop the black rather than develop a couple of reds and the black. So he's obviously gone for the percentage, and like I said, with that one there, he either needed to flick the red a lot thinner or play the shot with a bit more pace and move the two reds, move the black. But obviously you'd be trusting to a little bit of luck that you'd still be on your yellow then, but I mean the yellow was pretty much open table.
Just going back to the players, we were talking about, you know, whether we thought it might be Callum or Chris. I think one of the factors for me is the fact that Chris has literally just come back from China. He's been playing. He was playing in China with the bigger ball, and then he went straight from there to Gibraltar, playing with the bigger ball.
Yep.
Whereas Callum, chances are, he's done nothing but practice on that 8-ball table.
Play 8-ball,
and it's, for me, the one thing, and I'm never going to disrespect Chris in his ability, but sometimes you just feel he almost spreads himself too thin. And I've asked him before, I've tried to draw him on it a few times in interviews, that, you know, how does he adapt from going, because it comes down to muscle memory, how the ball's going to react. You're not absolutely in tune with the way the ball's going to react. And he is a magician. He is fantastic at doing it. There's no one better than him to do it. But Callum's been on these tables playing with these balls, and probably on this cloth for week after week, where Chris has been in China and in Gibraltar and everywhere else.
Well, let's be honest, there's not many that could just adapt and play. It's like now you just look at where Chris has pointed his finger, and most people would be playing this shot thinking, as long as I can hit this yellow, I've got to hope I can land it safe. Whereas Chris is looking at somehow trying to go around the angles, come off that side cushion to actually make contact with the yellow and potentially pot it in the left middle or in the bottom left bag.
It looks like he's going.
There's no benefit to just hitting the yellow. He's going to need a pot.
Side top corner.
That's what he tried.
Yeah. So he was trying to hit that. He was trying to hit that fuller and play it as a cross double.
No, he was trying to come behind it. He was trying to come behind off the back cushion.
Yeah.
That's where he pointed his finger. He wanted where he's just flicked the yellow thin. If he'd have just missed it and hit the side rail first, he was trying to kick it into the left centre, I think. But he hasn't made it. So this is looking like 2-0 to Callum.
Just left the wrong angle here. He's not good. He's the red he's closest to doesn't pass the black into the middle, and the one to bottom right, the white is colliding with the yellow, and even if he can avoid the yellow, then it's colliding with the black. Very, very difficult to try and get position here. He may even be forced to take the one he's closest to into the top corner, and just you could almost. I was going to say you could possibly play it as a shot to nothing, but I don't think you can. There's too much angle. So he's going to play this and then maybe just try and cannon off the yellow, catch the yellow half ball. Oh, he's played that really well. Let the cue ball go. This is the trouble. As soon as you just run fractionally out of position, this is the problem you get. It's now he's got this long, difficult pot, and this really is a test of cueing. Just fractionally off the top cushion. You can see Chris in the background just saying that he's cold. His hands are cold. He's trying to warm his hands up. It is just a tiny bit chilly in the arena. That's a great shot. That really is some superb cueing there from Callum. And he made that look easy, but it really wasn't. That really is a great test for him. And you can see how well he's playing. 2-0. And as I say, Chris just maybe struggling. It's obviously not helped by the fact that he's pretty much stuck in his seat at the moment. It's the Callum Singleton show. Chris has had a couple of visits to the table, but he's not gonna warm up while he's sat in the corner. And if Callum can break dish here, then a 3-0 advantage in a race to 11 is going to be, you know, give him a real psychological edge. You can see one of the new features that we brought you this year, that split screen and the expression on the two players. I mean, I think that's really it's saying freezing.
So yeah, Chris is he's obviously like
just
said,
feeling the cold a bit.
He's
Yeah,
feeling the cold a little bit. I mean, needs a little bit more meat on his bones, and then he won't feel it. Oh, look, I think he heard me. Look, he's laughing. I think he heard me then. What good timing was that?
Yeah. But you can see the body language from the two players. I mean, Callum just focused, leaning forward in his chair, ready to pounce onto the next break and dish. And Chris, you know, there's already that tiny bit of negativity in his mind because it's not just flowed quite the way he wants to. He won't be worried about the 2-0 down, but you can almost see that body language. He's worried that he's cold. Callum doesn't care. He's like, I'm all right, mate.
Especially with Callum nailing that red as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Great red.
Yeah. So another really well-timed break. Fairly effortless too. Bit of a mishmash here. There's reds tied up. There's yellows that are awkward. I think he'll be going for yellows here, but it's neither set particularly attractive.
Yeah, it's just a case of what he's going to play as his. What he's going to play as his starter ball. I mean, he could take the reds.
He could go reds, but the reason I think he won't, he's got the awkward one just below the black, which I'm not sure goes anywhere.
That goes in the right middle.
There are balls around it he can break out if he needs to. There's one on the bottom cushion, obviously the two tied up on the bonk line. But
so each player has one extension per frame. Shot clock, 45 seconds?
45 second shot
45
clock, yeah.
seconds, so one extension per frame. I reckon he's going to go. I reckon he's going to take the reds.
I think he's going to take reds, and the reason is probably the one that you mentioned. There's just not a good opener on yellows. He does have the one to the right hand side of the table near the bolt line, but it doesn't afford itself position to anything else, does it? So, and
probably wanted a little bit more angle than what he's left himself there.
Finished the touch straight here. Not going to be able to do much with the cue ball. He's just going to.
But if he floats it in, then he's got the tap in, the red by the black to the right middle, and he's automatically going to be going towards that yellow on the left rail to put him on that red to the top right. So this might actually work out all right. I mean, even if he flicks the black slightly after contact with the red, the white's going to be going over in that direction. So even though it's a tricky one off the rail, position-wise, exactly where he's just pointed his cue, that's where he's looking to be. And this might be all right. So this is quite a big pot.
Still a high degree of difficulty.
Yeah,
This is, you know, there's got a high tariff against it. This shot, it's, you know, these guys tend to make it look pretty simple. Commentator's curse. Just pushed it to the far jaw. Not unsurprising. That really was a tricky shot. So now,
and underhit it by quite a long way as well.
Yeah.
He was obviously expecting that to go a lot further than what it did.
Yeah, I think he just hit it a bit thicker than he wanted to. If he'd have got it that bit thinner, the white would have travelled just that bit further. And now the yellows do look just slightly more inviting for Chris. All in the same place, but that difference of position for the cue ball for the opening ball, and this should be a fairly simple clearance for Chris. And now he's moving around the table. That should warm him up. So the only real ball of any concern would be the one closest to the rail. He has options where he could try and move it. It looks like he's left the angle to try and move it, whereas actually I think landing on it would be my preference.
Yeah, I think
he could probably do either.
He's left himself with a choice of either shot, whether he chooses to manoeuvre it or just stun him behind it.
Yeah, looking perplexed about something, isn't he? Move it he does, and played it absolutely perfectly.
Yeah, good shot. That's perfect.
Yeah, and I preferred moving it because he's always going to be on this this other yellow, isn't he? Whereas if he tried to land on it, and didn't land quite rightly, he wouldn't have had that second option. He would have been too high. And a very welcome chance for Chris Melling. Even there, just using the red to just so natural, just to use it. I mean, I don't think
didn't even need to, but he chose to.
I know most players would just go directly for the pot, but you know that's the kind of thing. If I tried to play it off the red, I'd probably hit it too thick and hit the jaw or something. But it shows the confidence in his own ability, and as I say, a very welcome chance there from Callum to Chris, and Chris takes full advantage. So I'm just going to do a quick recce around the rest of the room and see what other games are in action. Of course, it's just the 4 TV tables in this 12:30 session. And across on table 4, a very stern opening game there for Shane Thompson. Jack Whelan, a man in a rich vein of form, off the back of wins at Spenny's a couple of weeks ago and in Murphy's last week, where he was victor in the English Open. Shane Thompson has got the early honours though. He's 2-1 ahead against Jack Whelan. You can watch that game on table 4. Jake McCartney opening his account. He's flown across from Australia just to play in this one. He's playing against Scott Crawley over on table 3, and that's currently locked at 2 frames each. The game you see before you, Callum against Chris Melling, and the other game that's currently on the go on table 11 is a very interesting opening game for Scott Gillespie and Clint Ianson. Scott is currently 4-2 up against Clint. You wouldn't be surprised to see either one of those players victorious in that one. There won't be any shocks whoever wins. But currently it's Scott 4-2 ahead, and you can catch that action on table 11. So all of those games being streamed live on Beard Productions, and you can choose which one you would prefer. And if you want to keep yourself updated with those scores and also have a look through the draw as it's going to pan out for the rest of the day, then you can do. You just need to go to qscore.com. If you go to, there's a live tab at the top, just click on the live tab.
There's another one missed.
And you will see the Liberty Games Open under the Supreme Pool Series.
So interestingly, that's another ball to the middle missed by Callum, which you'd have expected to get all day long.
Yeah, after the first 2 opening frames, a couple of unusual unforced errors from him.
Yeah, he's probably sat in his chair after the previous frame thinking that he should be 3-0 up, really.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's probably right in thinking that as well. So it just depends on how Chris is going to go about his business here. That's a great shot. What a great shot that is. He is some shot maker, to be fair to him, Chris Melling. He always seems to know exactly where the white's going to go. The magician.
Indeed, the magician. And we'll just have a quick look at Chris's profile. He's
looking a bit warmer now, isn't he?
Yeah, 39 years old. Yeah, it's amazing when you're winning frames. You don't feel the cold, isn't it? 39 years old. He's got an anonymous cue, doesn't know who's made it. Uses a century tip with 8.3 mil. If somebody asked me, I would have said that Chris Melling would have used a slightly smaller tip than that, probably, you know, with the kind of reaction he gets on the ball. But I'd imagine that's probably a good crossover between, you know, what he uses for pool and what he uses for snooker. You know, you can't go too small because then the difference is huge.
Quite a big difference. Yeah, it looks like he's using the light blue Tawam 2.0 chalk. So that's obviously his chalk of choice.
Yep. So his list of achievements is quite endless, to be honest. World 8-ball champion twice. World Masters 8-ball champion twice. International Masters champion. European Masters champion. China Open champion. Of course, he was Moscone Cup champion twice, and also he was the MVP when he played on that Moscone team. Obviously, narrowly missed the Moscone team for 2018, and I know he was bitterly disappointed about that.
As were a lot of people, I think. And a lot of people thought he should have been that, and that is 2-2.
Yeah, and who knows, maybe, you know, no disrespect to the other players, but having a character like Chris on the team maybe kind of makes a difference. It's an Englishman playing in England.
Yeah.
And the crowd would have been right behind him, and he kind of feeds off that buzz as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think there was quite a lot of public outrage, to be honest, that he wasn't selected and he wasn't in the team. A lot of people weren't happy.
29 147 breaks in snooker. Just
29.
Just to 29. Yeah.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Savage.
First started playing pool at the age of 3 when his parents bought him a table. At the age of 9, his dad took him to the local pub. And then his career all kind of started there. The next door neighbour took him to a local snooker club where he started playing snooker. And at the age of 10, that was at the age of 10. And by the age of 12, he'd made his first century. By the age of 15, he'd made his first maximum. He got a sponsor to play on the pool tour, and he gained professional status. And of course, he is the only player to have ever held that professional status in 3 disciplines: in American 9-ball pool, in English 8-ball pool, and snooker. Held the professional card in all 3 at the same time. Biggest influences are, and still are, his mum and dad. Favourite player and a good friend of his is Jason Shaw. I know they room together a lot when they're on the road. Very good friends. Best player he's ever played against is Mick Hill at 8-ball, and Mark Selby at snooker, and Earl Strickland at 9-ball. And he used to play a lot of rugby. Likes to play golf. He's an avid fan of Leeds United. Someone has to be. And I know he's a very, very good darts player. Very good darts player. He's a regular 180 maker, and I think he's had a few 9-dart finishes in his time. I think I'm right in saying that. I saw a status he put up recently saying that he hadn't picked up a dart in 3 months, and then went to the board, and his first 3 darts he hit a 180. But,
does not surprise me.
Very good at all the pub sports. I think they say that, don't they? I wouldn't be surprised if he was a good skittler as well. Probably shove 8-ney. He's pretty good at that. So that's Chris Melling. His opponent, currently at the table, working through this break, is the young Callum Singleton, just 23 years old. He's got a tiny little 7.3 mil tip on this cue, so.
I wonder what you're going to say then, Nick. He's got a tiny what? 7.3.
7.3, yeah.
Still bigger than mine.
Yeah. So won multiple Team World Championships and European Championships. Made a junior world final. In fact, I did see the other day who he lost to in that final, and I can't think who it is off the top of my head. I will remember. Made a European men's final, won the under-23 World Championships. Won the men's home nations. Started playing at a very young age. His dad got him into the game. Greatest inspiration was Stacey Vine. Ambitions for the game is, well, when he got into the England team, he wanted to become a world champion, so he's already achieved that, but he would like to win the individual men's worlds. Underhit that one by probably 4 or 5 inches. Would have dearly loved to be below that that middle bag, and then he could just stun up table to play the black in that centre bag that you're looking at. As it is now, it's just about whether he can hold, and I don't think he can. I think he's got to come off the bottom rail, and there's a lot of traffic, so these are the kind of shots that can go wrong. He has played that so well.
That is plumb, absolutely plumb.
What a great shot that is. I mean, beautifully controlled. You could see the side that he used, and the control and pace, absolutely perfect. Really, really top shot there. That could have easily gone wrong. So much traffic at the bottom of the table, and for a club player, when you're heading towards those pockets, sometimes they're easy to misjudge and go in off, but he's judged that to perfection.
Yeah, he'll be back in his chair thinking that he could be, you know, 1 or 2 ahead. Really, he's made, you know, that shot plus that long ready made earlier.
Yeah,
was absolutely awesome. And then obviously he's maybe just a lapse in concentration. He's missed those two fairly simple balls to the middle that you'd expect him to get. And so the referee for this game is Sam Sprackman.
Dr. Q.
Dr. Q, yeah. He's also known as.
He is. Young Sam travelled up from, well, I say young. He's 40 next year. I always think of him as young because I've known him for so many years. We started playing pool together, I don't know how many years ago, 20 odd.
Yeah, he can work some repair magic. And Sam, I remember I snapped the ferrule, the tip, and the whole lot off of mine, and give it to Sam, and within about 4 days he had it fixed, repaired, referruled, retipped, everything.
Yeah, no, he's
genius.
Really good with. He doesn't only make cues; he does a lot of work in repairs and putting tips on. He's always done my cues. You can see Chris Edge just exchanging a few words with Stefan Rossidi. Stefan and Chris know each other well from the same neck of the woods. Stefan was fairly nearby when Chris was playing. A little shake of the head from Chris as he was cueing there. Maybe something just still not quite comfortable. I don't know what it is. Really well-timed break, and the balls have spread far and wide, but unfortunately for him, he's not made one. It's dry, and Callum comes to the table with a golden opportunity.
But this is the prime example of what we were discussing earlier, whereby, for example, he cannot play the red onto the yellow, pot the yellow and take yellows.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying that's the shot he would want to play, but that shot cannot be played. The only way he can play that shot is if he puts red onto yellow, pots both balls, then he would remain reds because red was the ball he hit first. But if he was to go red onto yellow, pot the yellow and not the red, then obviously it's loss of turn. Callum would come to the table, and it would be an open table.
So yellows look the ball here only because the location of the red to the top right behind the yellow, but that does leave a small problem of the yellow just above the bulk line. That ball will not then go to either top corner pocket, so he needs to navigate that one. So when I say it's a nice open table, it doesn't come without its problems. So now he's looking at taking that ball, taking the really difficult one to start with. Yeah, and he felt that the risk reward was there. If he made the pot,
Big ask.
then it was game over. But that was a really tough shot, and you'll see the top players quite often doing that, just saying, right, that's my difficult ball. I'm going to attack it now. If I make it, I'm going to win the frame. Obviously, the flip side of that, if he doesn't make it, he's going to lose the frame.
Pretty much lose the frame.
The whole frame was on that one single ball.
But he didn't have to go that way. I mean,
He didn't.
There's plenty of other players that, for example, would have left that ball alone, potted another yellow, and then that yellow there, they'd have used the yellow that he took, play that onto the red to the top left, pot the red, leave the yellow there. Therefore, Chris's 2 reds up there would have been absolutely stuffed.
Well, I mean, it shows
2 ways of playing it.
It shows a slight naivety to the rules, in all honesty, because he could have played that shot, yellow onto red. He could have played it in 2 ways. So he could have played it as a combo for them both to drop. And if they both drop, he goes on and wins the frame. But if it doesn't drop, he leaves the yellow hanging over the bag. Chris is playing the ball from where he is with his 2 reds sat behind that yellow. So he could have played it as a kind of 2-way shot, as a kind of attacking.
It's one of those shots, isn't it? He obviously, he must have felt good because he's chosen to take the ball on, knowing in his own head that if I make this, I'm going to win the frame, and if I don't, then that's this frame gone. And did he need to go that attacking? I don't know. Some players would.
I guess it depends what your game plan is, doesn't it? I mean, you're playing Chris Melling, and you know that you have to probably take every opportunity you can. So maybe he just feels under pressure to go for everything and take his chances. And he knows if he plays at the top of his game, he's going to win. But I mean, I would have preferred the slightly more reserved option there. He could have even tried to get above that yellow and land on it, better than he was.
I mean, I suppose what he was probably thinking was if he'd have gone the direction that I sort of suggested. Obviously, with Chris's shot-making ability, Chris probably would have found an angle or a combo or some kind of shot to break that out anyway.
That is always the danger.
Still clear the table.
There you go. So there's always absolutely. There's always going to be a danger when you're playing Chris Melling.
Which way would you have played it, Nick? Would you have gone for it?
I personally would have gone for the clearance. I must admit, I haven't played a huge amount of Supreme rules, so those kind of shots I'm not kind of seeing them naturally yet. But as soon as you suggested it, that's the obvious shot to play, because, as I say, you can play it as a 2-way shot. You can play it as a full-blown combo, but if you don't make it, it doesn't matter. It's one of those.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why I like the shot. It's just playing the averages slightly, isn't it?
I'll be honest, I'm slightly disappointed in you for not playing the rules a little bit more. I mean, at the end of the day, you are the sexiest, most soothing voice in all of the commentary world, and you have not played the rules very much. Shame on you.
I've played them a bit. Well, to be honest,
shame on you.
To be honest with you, I haven't played any rules much.
It's not good enough. Eh?
Just haven't had the time to play recently.
All this preparation, and you haven't played the rules.
I know. It's terrible. There's a loose one from Chris.
That's not what he's played at all, is it? He hasn't played that. I don't know if he can get through to that yellow just above the bulk line on the left side of the table. If he can get through to that one at the top, then he might be all right. Facial expression tells me that he probably can't. So he's going to have to find a shot here. And Callum's sat in his seat, probably licking his lips, thinking he's got a chance of coming back to the table now. So he could be going yellow just above the white line, up to the top right pocket, I reckon. Yeah, he's got it. Great shot. So without cursing it, I would think that Callum is going to be staying in his chair for the remainder of this frame. That should be Chris with a 1 advantage. If you've got any questions, guys, then chuck them in the comments, and We'll get Nick to answer them for you.
Yeah, I was going to say there's no one here that's going to
As
answer them. So
as he's just explained, he's played lots of Supreme rules, so he knows all the answers.
I do. Yeah, no. If it's on rules, I know the rules. It's just. You know, when I'm watching World Rules or Black Ball, you naturally see the right shot.
Yeah.
But because of these kind of nuances of you know, the loss of turn shot, the tactical shot as it's called, then it's this black obviously passes the.
That flies in.
Oh yeah, it does. Well, flies in.
Yeah, flies in.
3/4 of a pocket. No problem at all.
So yeah, so that's 4-3 to Chris Melling. I just wonder if Callum's replaying that shot in his mind when he went for that, you know, very, very attacking yellow that obviously he didn't make. And to be fair, the yellow you've just seen Chris play, that was pretty similar, whereby, you know, if he didn't make that, Callum probably would have come and mopped up the reds.
Yeah.
So it's such fine margins at this level of the game.
And you can see the man who is the brainchild behind the Supreme Series. He was just sat there behind the TV screen.
The brainchild. Let's get the brainchild. There he is. Who killed Kenny? There he is, the man himself.
Lee Kendall, you can see even Shane Thompson just in the background there over on one of the other TV tables.
He's a good-looking bloke, isn't he? Look at him. Good-looking bloke. He was even painting last night. I put the little picture on the players' pool events last night. Seen him doing some painting.
I mean, it had to go on the screen. I mean, it's unheard of. Kenny working.
I was shocked.
I mean, it's just
I was shocked.
Unheard of. That man.
I've been offered big money for that picture.
Yeah.
Big money.
Yeah. From him, no doubt. Just to not show it. He doesn't. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't want people to know that he actually does something. He's gone dry again, you know.
It's unlucky that, isn't it?
Goodness me.
Big break and it's gone totally bone dry.
Massive break. And this could be the difference today with, I mean, he got away with the last one, with Callum going for that kind of expansive shot, but
he hasn't got away with this one.
He's definitely not got away with this one. I think the reds look pretty plumb. The two at the bottom look to be a plant. He would just have to be wary about taking that plant.
Hang on a minute, was that Kenny with a Costa coffee in his hand?
Yeah, I don't know
where. I didn't think you were allowed to bring things in from the outside.
I'd love to know where he got it from.
Well, he hasn't got it from the bar. Shocking.
Nice opener, controlled it well. You just saw the white ball die off that side well as he played it with check side. There are other brands of coffee available to buy, of course.
Love it. So, Nick, comment from, I'll try and say his name, Hussein Madrabaki.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where he's from, but his question is, guys, how can the players outside of Europe join these tournaments?
Well, quite easily. I mean, you're more than welcome to join any of these events. The series, all of the details, actually, if you go to Players Pool Events page on Facebook, all of the details are on there. The details for the dates for the rest of the series, and also you can contact us through that page, through the Players Pool Events page. Just send us a message and we will give you the details. We have players here from Morocco, from Malta, from Australia, from South Africa. So yeah, please do. You would be more than welcome to join us. There are. By the way, guys, while I just think about it, there are spaces available for Event 3, and you can buy into single events. So, sorry, Event 2. What did I say?
Well, this is Event 1, so I reckon the next one's Event 2 next.
Did I say 3?
You did say 3.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, well, they're available for 3 as well.
Well, yeah.
Spaces available for events 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Mate, I know
okay?
I know what your plan is. I know what your plan is. Your plan is you're going to play in Event 2. So you're telling everyone that Event 2's full up.
Yeah,
and there's spaces in Event 3. That's what you're playing at, isn't it?
And the event is actually happening in, well, it's just above the Midlands in the UK. So it's Newcastle under Lyme, which is basically attached to Stoke-on-Trent. I never know quite where the one stops and the other one begins.
Stoke.
But it's just north of Birmingham.
We're in Stoke.
In the UK, we're in Stoke,
We're in
basically,
Stoke,
aren't we?
yeah, we're in Stoke. In the slums nearby.
No, that's just where your hotel room is, mate.
Well, yeah, it's quite nice actually. I've got quite nice accommodation.
Good.
It's lovely.
Good. Man of your means shouldn't be slumming it where the rest of us are, that's for sure.
Got to look after yourself these days. Whilst I've still got a few toilet rolls left. try and live in a bit of luxury. And that's the black ball gone. So
another one racked up there. Callum taking full advantage of that dry break from Chris. And Chris looking ponderous. So obviously you see the advert there for Liberty Games. They are the title sponsor of Event 1, and we thank them for their support. And all of the sponsors you see around the boards, to Aramith and Supreme, to K8, and to Strachan, to Shark Rack, to Jed Ronan, who is the bookie. And incidentally, if you want a bet on the event, then Jed Ronan's your man. You can get hold of Jed through the Facebook pages. Somebody just asking a question. Is there going to be a grand final like the last year with a big payout? Yes, there will be a grand final. Event 5 will be the grand final. It's not going to be quite such a large payout as last year. We've tried to level things up a bit. We've listened to the players and kind of flattened the payout. We're paying down to 24, so a third of the field get paid. So the lesser players should be picking up money throughout the series. Even Adam Penwell's got a chance of cashing this year.
Well, even the cabby's got a chance of getting, I mean, the good thing is paying down to 24. You know, it does open up to people who think, okay, you know, I could have a good run if I play well, but am I going to make the semis? Am I going to make the quarters? Unlikely. Whereas to pay to 24, you know, you pretty much, if you finish, what is it, 17th to 24th or something like that?
Yeah, I think
something like that.
When
you
your first few games,
you get your money back.
Yeah,
so there's some value in it for the lesser players.
Yeah, so I think what you'll find is...
That's why I'm surprised that George isn't here, to be honest. Now there's a bit of value for the lesser players. I thought he might be here as well, like me.
So what you'll see in the grand final, I believe it's going to be around about double prize money. So what you see is the prize money in this. Incidentally, all of the details, anything you want to know, you'll find it all on that Players Pool Events page. Do head across there on Facebook. Give us a like. Chris there just...
He's gone to split up the red and the yellow on the right. He's obviously just missed it.
Tried to break up that little puzzle at the top of the table, and that's going to cause him a bit of a headache now, because that was a fairly natural ball. Obviously, he had to force it, and in forcing it, he didn't, just opened up the angle slightly.
And if you want a personal response, then feel free to add Nick Finn on Facebook. You'll get a personal response 24 hours a day. He's always happy to give you a message and answer your questions.
Thank you.
He's always available.
Yeah.
Mr. Supreme Pool Series, Nick Finn. Most soothing voice in the commentary world. So he's going to try again, I think.
Yeah, left and... well...
Yeah, he's all right. A little bit of top and right-hand side. He wants to come round exactly where he's pointing the cue now. Even if he hits the red, you know what I mean? As long as he splits them up, he's going to have a shot of some kind. He's going to have to be pretty unlucky here.
And again, a lot of players may have been tempted to take the two balls at the bottom of the table first, but if you've got a ball near a pocket and you've got to open a ball out, you shouldn't... Oh my goodness me.
Harsh.
And that's exactly what I was just talking about there. You should always leave that ball adjacent to the pocket until later, because if things do go wrong and you don't get your ball out, then you've still got the contingency of the one over the pocket. So as I say, a lot of club players may have been tempted just to clear the bottom of the table first, but then had he have done that, he wouldn't have had a shot now. So
this would be some shot mine that he's lining up here. He's going to try, from the looks of where he's pointing. No, he might change his mind, but it looked like he was going to try and pop the yellow to the bottom left, go through that gap between red and black to land on that yellow to the top left. I'm not sure if he's changed his mind.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much exactly what he tried.
That was
but
the way he was going, but
he's in a lot of trouble now.
Now he's stuffed.
And now you're going to, if Callum, unless he pulls out a miracle here, Callum can put Chris in all kinds of problems. Especially given where the yellow and red.
He's going to have to play a Chris Melling special to get out of this one. Hitting it's not a problem, but he needs to pot it. Oh, ooh, I thought he got it.
Red's in play.
So it's not too bad. Obviously, Callum's got that yellow, which is now, the red, tied up behind Chris's yellow. But obviously, with this cluster of reds down the bottom of the table, he's got several options. He can either go for it, leave an option, or be a bit more reserved, unlike he was earlier. Play a containing shot, try and keep it safe, and in the hope that he's either going to get a foul out of Chris, or that even if Chris does make contact, that maybe he'll bump that red out for him. But with 3 reds there, he could have almost the red he's pushed off the side cushion. He could have almost played that to pot it or put it towards the rail, and he could have got this white much tighter in behind this cluster of reds.
Yeah.
Because hitting this isn't going to be a problem, but will he find a way to pot it? What's he looking at here, Nick? Any ideas? I ain't got a clue what he's looking at.
You're going to find out. No, that's
the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
So as you see now,
bit of a disaster there.
Yep.
He really didn't want to move that.
And now it's ball in hand, so he can actually place this anywhere on the table, anywhere on the table of his choice. One shot, one visit, no free visit, and you'd expect him to tidy up these reds. Yeah, he's not missing these. These are gone. This is going to be, I don't want to jinx it, but this is going to be 5-4. You don't miss these. I'd miss these, but he won't miss these.
I mean, there's probably a dozen different ways of going around these, but he's going to take the one nearest the baulk line and then probably stunning down for the one near the blue spot. And then he'll be looking to run through a few inches and take the one nearest the centre of the table, the one to the right-hand side of that triangle, and that'll just open the other 2 balls for the one at the top of that triangle of 3 for the middle bag. All those balls are kind of covering each other into certain pockets, so he has to still go about it in a certain way.
He's all right. He's only got to play one cannon.
I think he's had
That's
a kick
got
there.
A kick. Yeah, that's
definitely had a kick
got
there.
He's played that to follow through a few more inches.
Yeah, he wanted to finish just to the right-hand side of what would be the blue spot. And
where he's pointing now is where he wanted to follow through.
Yep.
He wanted to take either the red to the bottom right or the bottom one of those 3 reds and just literally cannon into the top one. And then that's it. Game over. He's still all right, though. Do you know what I mean? A player of Callum's calibre, these aren't a problem. Just literally on and off the side rail. Looks pretty good to me.
Yeah.
Just a stun into that.
Just
top
enough
red.
angle.
Just a little stun into that top
That's
red.
right.
And then 2 little Marys to plop in.
Just a gentle stun shot to flick it half ball, just like so. Perfect.
There you go.
Lovely touch. Simple enough. Should be easy to execute, but those things can still go wrong. If you're just not cueing quite right, you can get stuck behind balls. Jordan Church asking what the winner gets this weekend. It's 5,000 to the winner. I think 26 to second place. I'm not sure. It's there is a poster on the Players Pool Events page. It pays down to 24 places.
Yeah, it's
Shame you're
definitely-
not here, Jordan. Would have been great to have you along. I know you've got other commitments and couldn't make it, but wow.
I think he's been playing quite well recently as well. I've seen his name in
Yeah.
quite a few tourneys.
Yeah.
You know, going well in tournaments. So
Would have been
yeah,
good
it
to
would
see
be,
you here. Another one of my co-commentators.
it would be
Always
nice
good
to have
him.
Jordan in the building.
555 Spank just asking whether the rules are close to Chinese 8-ball. They are. They are very, very similar. The rule set is similar between the Chinese 8-ball and the ones that are widely used in American 8-ball. There are a few nuances, a few changes to try and adapt them to what these players would be used to, but essentially, yeah, very, very similar. Designed to be attacking, designed to punish mistakes.
Chris Melling to break, trailing 5 frames to 4, time running.
Yes, Hussein, that is correct. Nick Finn is your man. That's the one to add. Nick Finn.
I've got no idea who
So
he is.
Nick, surname Phin. Excuse me, Phin. Nick Finn. That's your man, Hussein.
Mate, you keep going like that, I'm going to give out your phone number, all right? And get people to give you some...
I haven't got a phone. I can't afford one. Times are hard. Keep wasting my money coming here and not getting anywhere.
Jordan saying that hopefully make 1 or 2 later in the year would
Oh, dear.
definitely love to see you, mate.
That's a poor one.
Would be great too. So
You missed that, Nick.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
he's
you missed that. Simple yellow to the middle, and he's hit it straight into the jaw. Very, very uncharacteristic from Chris, that one. Yeah, well done, Hussein. That's correct. Nick Finn will accept your friend request probably after this match is finished.
leave it out,
And if there's anyone else, then like I said, Nick
Stop.
Finn's your man. Add him.
mate. This is only borrowed. I can tell you that now. This is only borrowed time. All right, you got to remember, I'm on this microphone all weekend, so you know.
Priceless. Absolutely priceless.
Lee Rogers, yes, it will be Supreme rules all the way throughout the series. All 5 events now being played to Supreme. It's interesting to see, actually, that the rules are being adopted elsewhere as well. I know that Racks over in Ireland have had a lot of events recently, and they're all played to Supreme
Really,
rules.
yeah.
They've adopted them over there, and also I noticed that there was a proposal to bring Supreme rules into EPA instead of World rules, and I know it got rejected, but
Yeah,
interesting to see that
It
it's already
was,
making
yeah,
inroads. It
it
really
is.
is.
And, you know, there's a lot of people that have watched the rules from previous event, obviously like last year, the grand final with the Supreme rules, and there's a lot of clubs and club owners and pool players who have said, "Do you know what, I like these rules. These are quite nice. I like these." And there's several tournaments now who want to give it a go. Yeah, Hussein, not a problem. You're most welcome, sir. You are most welcome. You will. The first 10 people to add Nick Finn will probably go into his VIP section. So Hussein, you are number 1. You are number 1 VIP on Nick Finn's friend list. Congratulations, sir.
Oh dear. Seriously, only borrowed. Wow, this is going to be an interesting shot here from Chris. Here we go. Watch this one move.
Oh,
Wow.
dearie me, that was not the plan.
The reaction he got on that cue ball, he knew he needed to get right up table. He needed to get up somewhere near the bolt line, or over to the right-hand side of the table, so he could play that plan. Obviously, he's got the ball over the pocket, but that was no good because he could then not get position on the one to the right-hand side in bulk. So he was just trying everything to get up. And here we see the ball in hand. It's ball in hand anywhere on the table. Only one shot, no free shots, no 2 shots, nothing else. Just ball in hand anywhere on the table, one visit. And I think that young Callum will have learnt a lot from last year's series. I said about the game where he was 7-6 up against Tom Cousins and on the hill in the loser's side, and he tweaked a black to win the match, and then subsequently went on to beat Tom in a later game. And I think he's one of these young players who, as he gets over those moments, we all have those kind of pinnacle moments in the career where, you know, everyone has tweaked the ball. There's nobody that really massive ball when everyone's watching, and you're playing Tom Cousins, and you've got this ball to knock Tom Cousins out of the tournament, not to put him in the loser's side, to knock him out of the tournament. Yeah. And you know, he's such a big name.
That's pressure,
and that is real pressure. And the best players go away from that experience and they learn from it. And didn't he ever learn from it because he came back stronger and he beat Tom the next time they played?
It's like this morning, you know. Obviously, he was due on around about 12:30 on the main arena. He was in the building this morning about 9:30. He turned up, and on the practice table in the other room, obviously there's 15, 16 tables in there. Yeah. So there were several players who were in early this morning, having a practice. Obviously, Callum chose to take advantage of that. He was in early. I'm not sure when Chris arrived. I don't think Chris had a practice when he arrived. I think he turned up maybe about half an hour before the game, I think. Maybe a little bit earlier than that. But obviously Callum chose to get on the table, have a knock. And to be fair, Chris doesn't need a knock anyway, does he? He doesn't need to practice. No. He just gets his cue out and knows what he's doing. But this is good stuff from Callum at the moment.
It really is.
It should be taking him, 2 clear? 6-4 ahead?
6-4 it is. Referee calls frame. Goes through the motions. Callum a little nod to a friend just to say, "Yep, I'm in control." This was the game plan, and he's currently executing it to perfection.
Callum Singleton to break, leading 6 frames to 4. Time running.
So I understand that
hot off the press, that was.
You've already been on the practice table this morning. Well, you didn't get a lot. Didn't get much of a chance, did you?
I had I had a really good practice, and then what happened was Paul from Beard Productions come over because he. And well, you let me know what your thoughts are on this, right? So Beard Productions bought the group that I'm in the Calcutta.
Yeah.
They offered me half of myself, which I took for about £1.50.
Yeah.
Bargain deal.
Well, I think that was a bit overpriced. But
probably, but you know, I could afford it, so £1.50 is all right. So then, what you think you would do if you owned a player in a Calcutta? You would want him to do well, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You'd want to support him. You'd want him to do well. So obviously what Paul has done, he's come over, he said to me, do you want a quick frame? I'll give you a quick frame. I haven't picked up a cue for God knows how many years. I went, yeah, okay, fair enough. So anyway, Paul picks the cue up, and as soon as he picked it up, I could tell he hadn't picked one up for a few years, Mark. right? I've broke off. I've put the white in. And I was like, okay, fair enough. Looked at the layout of the table. Obviously, Supreme rules. So Paul's got one visit with this racker queue, which looks shocking. Queue action pretty much non-existent. But I'm being serious. It was a difficult finish, right? And I'm not joking. He's reverse dished me, taken out all the balls on the table, and then said, "Thanks for that, Penners. I've got to go now. Good luck in the competition." I was like, "You're having a laugh, aren't you? What do you mean, good luck in the competition? Screw you. Am I winning you any money?"
It's just ruined you
Not interested.
on the table.
Interested. When I lose my first 2 games 11-0, and say, "There you go, mate. What do you think about that?"
By the way, what a shot that was.
Unbelievable.
What a shot what that was from Callum. What a beautiful shot.
That's nothing compared to the shots that Paul was playing this morning. Paul was playing Paul. I couldn't believe it. When he was queuing from back to front, it was almost like the queue was doing its own zigzag on the way through, and he still took the finish out. It was disgusting.
Yeah.
I packed my queue away then. I thought, sod this, I ain't practising if I'm going to get that done to me.
No, there's no point. It's pointless. You might as well have just gone home at that point. If you've been beaten by Paul Moulding, you might as well just go home for the weekend, mate. I mean, what chance have you got?
Couldn't believe
Who have
it,
you got
mate.
in your opening game?
It doesn't matter now, does it? He could be.
Well, as long as it's not Paul Moulding, you'll probably be all right.
He could be blind and one-handed, and I'd probably still lose. I think I've got the.
So you took it well, basically.
Mate, I'm not annoyed about it at all. Yeah, I'm not a bad loser. I don't get upset or annoyed. But when someone buys you in the Calcutta and then does that to you, how are you supposed to feel? Eh?
I know, terrible.
To be honest with you, he did more work in that one frame than he's done since he's been sat here touching those buttons on the camera screen.
Yeah.
Since this game started.
So interesting to see the young man that I just spotted over in the corner of the arena. I believe that young Cian Monaghan.
Cian Monaghan.
So there's a very young man. He has entered the series this year at just 16 years old. I think he will be the youngest player that's been in the series.
16 or 17?
Well, I'm pretty sure he's 16, unless he's
more interestingly, who's he got with him?
unless he's just turned 17, because he did his profile about 2 weeks ago and he put 16 on there. So
good lad, Cian, as well. Good lad. He's a playmate.
He is the future of the game. Let me tell you.
The amount of improvement he's made in the last 12 months is ridiculous.
Now this is a fiddly little shot, isn't it? It's
fiddly.
Is it not? It's.
Do you know what? With the tables being reclothed and the way they're sliding, I'd just take it at the top bag. You can't miss it at the top bag. Oh! I didn't think that was going to drop then.
Just let gravity. I genuinely didn't. I mean, if it had hit that knuckle, it wouldn't have gone. Just let the pace of the ball and gravity take over. I really thought that was just too fiddly. I didn't think it was going to go.
That was too fiddly for my liking.
Yeah,
I'd have taken it at the top rail.
Yeah, when he was looking at the middle.
Tables reclothed, sliding in off the cushions. That was a much easier shot at the top bag, I reckon.
Yeah. So hopefully we see young Cian in action this weekend. Cian Monaghan, one to look out for the future. A great talent. I mean, he's played so many money matches already. He's just stamped his authority on the scene. He's probably been playing money matches since he was about 14 years old.
Mate,
I think.
He loves it. He's always after a money match.
He absolutely lives on the table.
He's
passionate about the game, and I'm so pleased to see him in the Supreme Series. So we'll follow his progress with interest over this weekend. A young man with a real bright future in the game, and it'd be nice to see him go deep. In the meantime, talking to young men, young Callum is now 7-4 up against Chris Melling. Wish the bookie was here. We'd be giving him a little pump by now. Good afternoon to Scott McMillan. Thank you very much for your good wishes. Hope you enjoy the action over the weekend.
Yeah, we're only looking at the comments now and then. So if we miss some of your comments, then apologies. Don't feel offended. I think Briggsy was asking me a question, but I've missed it.
So this is a must-win frame. Yeah, of course, young Ryan Davis played last year. I think he played one of the events.
Who's that, mate?
Ryan Davis, Aaron Davis's brother, Screech.
Oh, right, okay.
His brother. I think he may be younger. I think he may be 15, actually. He actually played on the snooker shootout recently.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
A young man who, very, very talented snooker player, also a great stick with a pull cue. Has every chance to emulate and maybe do better than his brother. He's a real talent, and I think he's focusing on snooker at the moment. There's another one that's just gone awry from Chris. It's just not happening for him at the moment. Those touches are normally so reliable. He was just trying to nudge the red just to push the yellow an inch or so down the table, open up this frame, and now
he's rattled. That's rare as well, isn't it? You don't see Chris
he
rattling
seemed
those.
to put in a little quick one there, didn't he? Pushing it down the rail. He hit it just slightly harder than he needed to.
He's not happy with himself.
Would have put a touch right hand side on that, just making sure that he left the angle to go back up and nudge that yellow out. And this all coming because of just these one or two kind of the shots that he's normally so reliant and so good on, the little touches.
Yeah.
Just not happening for him.
And do you know what? This is another situation here where it depends if Callum sees it this way or not, but this is another situation where these rules can really come into play. So, for example, the red that's in front in line with the brown spot, he could pot that to the top left bag. He could stun the white across to the side cushion behind that red that's on the rail that he's pointing at now. What he could then do is roll that red down to the bottom to pot Chris's yellow.
Yeah.
Leave the white, leave the red over the pocket.
Yeah.
Leave the white in behind the red.
In behind the red to
and
snooker.
Chris
Yeah.
would be absolutely stuffed.
Yeah.
So obviously he's
Taking the attacking option.
He's
Tried
chose the
to move
attacking
it out.
but still tricky.
Again, it is still tricky. He's
the-
still got
the
this
red
red
by
and
the
yellow.
yellow doesn't go.
Can he glance the yellow on the way through? I think he misses the pot if he glances the yellow, doesn't he?
If he flicks the yellow, he doesn't pot the red.
Yeah.
And like I said, this is a prime example where these rules come in, and you know, even though these players they have played these rules, and we've all played these rules, but obviously natural instinct is probably the black ball mindset, isn't it? Don't you think?
Yeah, very much so. Richard, I don't know yet. Quite possibly. Hope so. Thanks for tuning in. Great to see you. Always good to catch up on that Channel Islands International. It's a great event, by the way. If anyone wants to get a team up and go over to the Jersey, St Helier, in the club just behind the hotel on the front. It's a great event, actually. Really good. Teams from Guernsey, from Jersey, also teams from Belgium, teams from the UK. Great event.
So yeah, we'll give Stewie Barnes a little shout out, mate, because Stewie Barnes was quite impressed with my comment. So Stewie Barnes, thanks very much, mate. I thought it was quite an appropriate comment too. Hopefully, maybe Paul the cameraman will get back onto that at some point and give us another little glance. He'll probably forget, to be honest. Someone was asking if they could have a look at if you could get the camera back on Cian Monaghan. So they were saying how young he looks. So if we could fly back to Cian at some point, just so the fans can see how young he does actually look. He's gone, has he? Oh, that's a shame. So yeah, Callum's done well here. This was a tricky finish, wasn't it? From where it was, he's done well. He's just played a really, really good plant that certainly wasn't dead set to go in that pocket. And
just taking his medicine there.
Good finish this.
Yeah,
really,
just
really
slightly just slightly the wrong angle, but just took his medicine and dropped it in, left this slightly harder red. When I say harder red, it's more about the angle that he's had to leave it. So it's not quite as simple.
Yeah, it'll be fine. You just push this through.
Just run it through off the rail.
There you go. Just cut the black back to the middle. Tap in.
You see one of the other.
He's done well there, mate, hasn't he?
Yeah.
You know, there's no way, I'll tell you, there's no way I'd have gone for that finish. I'd have gone for my option of securing the frame, hopefully. But, you know, players of this standard...
But he's 7-4 up as well, doesn't it? That kind of helps, doesn't it?
Because it does, yeah, full of confidence. And that's a great finish from where it was. Great finish.
Really is.
And Chris will be sat in his chair, still having a little word with himself, thinking, how have I missed that flick? And then how have I missed that ball in the bottom?
Good afternoon to JJ. It's good to see JJ watching on.
Oh yeah, JJ Full.
Enjoys his pool.
Good afternoon, JJ.
So those other games in action, don't forget those. Keep up to date with all the other action on qscore.com. But let's have a quick look ourselves.
I was
Just
going
to
to say, mate, have you got the score updates? You can have a look for us.
I do indeed. I do indeed. Shane Thompson versus Jack Whelan locked together at 6 frames each. What about this? Jake McCartney, he means business this weekend. Flown in from Australia, 9-3 up against Scott Crawley.
I had a good practice with Jake this morning and last night, and yeah, good.
Top
First time
player,
I've come across him really, but solid. Big break as well.
And the only other game happening over on table 11, Scott Gillespie now 9-5 up against Clint Ianson and
Wow.
inching in on that. I mean, what an opponent.
Clint's class, mind you. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a game that you'd have thought that's going to be close.
Yeah.
And 9-5 is...
But Scott Gillespie just seems to
He loves it, doesn't he?
steamroller
He just loves
everyone
it,
in
doesn't
his
he?
path at the moment. This is got to be one of his favourite venues, and of course, I mean, they'd be flying high at the moment. He's just picked up the. He's now the ambassador for Supreme Pool.
That's right.
So he's the ambassador for these tables, playing upon, virtually, basically on his own tables, isn't it? I mean, he's just loving life at the moment, going from strength to strength as a player as well. And again, as I mentioned a second ago, there's another must-win frame for Chris. You certainly fancy him now to make this clearance.
Love that. Pattaya Drinker. When are the top guys on stream? Paul Moulding will possibly be on the stream later on at some point today. He's one of the top players at the venue this weekend.
Well, he would be, isn't he? He beat you. I mean,
he has not missed a ball. In every single shot or frame that Paul Moulding has played, he has not missed a ball. What do you think about that?
That's incredible.
Yeah, missed a ball.
Yeah.
Freak of a player. Not very good with the cameras, but he's he's not bad on a pool table, to be fair to him. I was quite impressed. I reckon me and Paul might have to have a little money match. If he gives me a start. If he gives me a start, I'd play.
You don't play with that at start, do you?
Behave yourself.
Eh?
Of course I play without a start.
Do you?
I was due to play the other week and the lad pulled out, didn't he?
What's that? Because you couldn't get a big enough start?
No, he just pulled out. I was playing a lad from Swindon. I was meant to be playing at Spenny's, but he pulled out. God knows why. It's free money playing me, isn't it? Why would you pull out when you're playing me? It's free money. It's not like I asked him for the game either. He asked me for the game. I had about 30 offers, and he was the one that we selected, and then he changed his mind. So that is that 8-5?
Yeah. Could you
8-5.
do us a favour, anyone watching, if you could just share the stream, if you would be so kind. I think there is an option to...
yeah, you can...
You can just press share, and
No,
then
you
can
share
just
the-
choose the media that you go to, share it to
No,
Facebook,
what you do
perhaps?
when you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on your mobile phone, for example,
Yeah.
leave it there. But that's the other way to do. Nick and technology, useless. So basically, when you're watching this on YouTube, at the top of the page, there is a little arrow that sort of points towards the right-hand side. If you click on that arrow...
Oh, a little sort of swipey arrow, yeah, I see.
It'll
then
then come up at the bottom,
it
and
gives
you
you
can
options.
then you can message it, you can email it. Best thing to do is click on the first one that you see, which is copy link.
Copy link.
Click on copy link,
And
then
then
get onto your Facebook, put
paste
that
it
as
in.
your status,
Perfect.
paste it away, and share it with everybody else. Because
Yeah, and
obviously
the reason we say this, guys, is because it just gets it out onto your timeline. So if you've got any friends that would enjoy watching this, then why not let them see it? It's a great spectacle this weekend. Make them aware that the Supreme Series is happening. Get it out on your timelines. Sadly, we don't have beer productions at the moment to be able to get all of the beer production audience in. Facebook have done us a little favour by getting rid of the page temporarily. Hopefully we'll be able to get it back, but we're looking into that. So yeah, we need your help to...
But also the benefit for you guys, obviously watching this on YouTube. Obviously, if you've got your smart TVs, like a lot of you have now, you can watch this on your 65-inch plasma,
Yeah, that's
full HD
that's
quality,
perfect, isn't it? It
listening
really
to
is.
a legend like Nick Finn. And I think I mentioned it earlier, but if there's any private questions, then add Nick Finn on Facebook. He is your man. Hussein was the number one to add him, so he has got VIP status. Well done, Hussein. You don't want to be adding me because I ain't got a clue what's going on.
I'm just telling you, final warning.
happening?
This is borrowed.
What's happening?
It's all borrowed.
What do you mean? I still owe you one from the last event.
Borrowed, mate.
Mate, when you dropped one at the last event, you almost knocked us all out. I owed you one.
No idea what
No.
you're talking about.
I'm getting towards paying you back almost. So, black to the bottom right. That's not.
No.
There's no way that's dropping.
Wow, I mean, and he's missed it by
And I'll tell you
some.
what, the interesting thing there was I was just about to say it on commentary, and I thought I'm not going to until he's played the shot. But obviously, that's the exact same pocket where he just missed that yellow a minute ago that
yeah.
you'd never expect him to miss.
But the thing is, I mean, he's not missed it by a little bit either, has he? He's
Oh,
missed it by so much.
That's what you call a wide.
Yeah.
That's the kind of shot that I would play.
Horrendous.
Yeah, I am horrendous. I know, Nick. Stop rubbing it in. Cheers, mate. One of the VIP referee is behind me, Viv Rusko. She's awesome, isn't she? Thanks, Viv. We love you.
I agree that he did seem to rush that a bit. Someone just mentioned that they thought he'd rushed it.
Yeah, and the yellow he missed, like you said at the time, he rushed that as well, didn't he? He was pretty much down on it and played it straight away.
Yeah. So you can see straight away Chris seeing that gap between the yellows, and in all honesty, he can't get to it from one cushion. So he is going to have to play. You're going to see Chris
Up,
Melling.
down, up. You can see an up, down, do you reckon?
Yep, that's exactly what you're going to see. You're going to see
What should we say, down,
three
up,
times,
down,
three
up?
times up and down the table,
Yeah.
and he's just working out his angles now, and he's aiming for that gap between the two yellows, knowing that if he finds that gap, the black will go fairly close to the pocket. He can.
If he makes this and pots it, mate, I'm going to throw up because this would be outrageous.
I mean, it's near impossible just to hit the ball. It's near impossible to hit it.
But if there's anyone who could pull the shot off,
Yeah.
then this is the guy, isn't it? Obviously, he's used his extension, so he's probably
Yeah, you heard him call the
probably got
extension,
about
so
20 seconds, I reckon. 20 seconds
No,
left to
probably
make
a bit-
this shot.
probably a bit longer. He gets the full 45 plus the extension. He's just called the extension now, so he gets
So he's
another
got-
45 on top. So he's got a
plenty
minute
of time
and a
then.
half. Yeah.
Plenty of time. There you
Yeah,
go, 10
yeah, the
seconds.
10
I said
second
20, I
call
was
now.
about right. Donut.
No,
No chance.
no. And
Would he have had the... no, he wouldn't have had it anyway.
I don't. I think that's.
To get it to go up and down that many times, mind, would have been crazy, wouldn't it?
No, but I mean, he's.
Unless, what do you reckon he's played down, up, down?
It's come off so straight.
3 times.
Yeah, no, he's played it up and down 3 times, but you could see from his expression there, it's come off the first rail and
Bit of a
come
FUD,
back.
bit of a FUD, wasn't it?
Well, it was. It almost came back straight. So Callum now, ball in hand, anywhere on the table.
Anywhere
Just one shot, so he still has to be careful. He still has to make sure that he just played it into the black to open the pocket. That was the clever way of doing it. And now this really, really should be another one on the board. This should be 9-5. That was a big frame as well. I mean, if Chris could have,
That's massive.
if Chris could have made that black at 8-6, very much still in the game. At
on, but
9-5,
9-5, he's he's got to win 5-0, hasn't he?
yeah,
No, he hasn't. It's
No,
first to 11,
no,
isn't it?
yeah,
First to 11,
first to
not
11,
10.
yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
yeah, 5-1.
I'm going to have to excuse myself for a moment.
Sure. You won't be missed. It's fine.
No, I know I won't. There's just a couple of people at the front door, and they're struggling with how to spell your name, so I'm just going to go out and see them and help them add you as a friend. For anyone else, it's Nick Finn, N-I-C-K, surname P-H-I-N-N. Nick Finn is your man, and I'll see you at the front in a second.
So that simple black, and he does make that clearance, and that's another one that's gone awry for Chris. A black that, as we said, he probably put in a bit of a quick one, missed it by quite a margin. Even if he could have just played it pocket weight to drop, had it stayed over the pocket, a near impossible feat for Callum to win from there. But he played it so badly it came away from the pocket. You see the scores from around the other games. Jack Whelan just now leading Shea Thompson by that one frame, 7-6. Jake McCartney 9-4 up against Scott Crawley. The fact that the Scott Gillespie Clint Jansen game has disappeared off the screen suggests that it's probably finished, and it has indeed. Scott Gillespie beats Clint Jansen 11 frames to 5, and Scott has started off the new season in the same way he finished last, winning 2 of the events. He is always going to be a feature in this event, always going to be a factor, and nobody is going to want to come up against him in the draw. Just literally, he's got his battle axe out and he is tearing down the doors. And it's Callum's turn to put a dry one in, and this does give Chris a really good opportunity, and these are chances he has to take every one now. Yellows look okay. There's obviously that one problem to the top right. Reds have similar issues, the one to the top right and the red just on the bulk line, also a problem. So Chris looking to someone just sounded like somebody knocked the table or dropped a cue or something just as Chris was about to cue. So wisely getting up off the shot, but there's another absolute howler. Maybe that just played on his mind slightly, just put him off. Not a shot that you would ever expect Chris Melling to miss. But miss it he does, and Callum just marches on. Obviously still an open table. I was just wondering if he could play the ball he's closest to the top corner, play it in such a way he plays it off the red, but I think the red's just too close to the pocket to be able to do that. So what I think we'll see him do now is I think he's got an angle. He's going to try and break open those 2 balls right now. Doesn't have to do it right now. He could. He's got the angle to do it if he wishes so, but he could land on one of the balls to the top left and then stun across into it. So that looks like he's going to try and play that shot. Yeah, I don't.
That was a big ask, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Don't panic, come back.
I can understand why he didn't play it off the one that's closest to us, essentially, this end of the table. Because if he gets it even slightly wrong, then the cue ball's in off, because it's a big pocket with the red line there. But I felt he could have potted that and got a better angle on one of those 3 balls. It just didn't seem, you could tell by the way he had to force it, that it didn't seem like it was quite there.
No, it wasn't on.
But he's got another great angle now. This is pretty much the perfect angle to be able to, again, needs to play it very carefully. He needs to hit the right-hand side of the ball. Perfect.
Shots, great shot.
Had he played that, had he come off the left-hand, has he been unlucky?
No, he's perfect.
He's okay. Had he come off the left-hand side of the ball, the cue ball would have stuck at the top of the table, and he may not have had a shot. Coming off the right-hand side of the ball as he did, he was always going to have something.
I've got a little update for you from the other room. So if anyone wants to check the scores themselves, then obviously have a look on Q score. That's where they are. But I saw Scott Gillespie packing his cue away. So
yeah, he won 11-5.
He's obviously won that match.
Yeah, we already know
Shane,
that.
Well, I bet you don't know this one then. I bet you don't know this one. You don't know the next one I'm about to tell you.
Shane was 7-6 down.
Shane was 7-6 down to Jack Whelan, and he's just missed an absolute dolly tapping of a black to go 7-all. And Jack's just taken out the last 3 reds and the black to go 8-6 up, and Shane was not looking a happy bunny. And it's a black.
Mr. Dolly.
It's seriously, even I would say even Paul would pot it, but Paul's awesome, so Paul definitely would have potted it. I probably would have potted it. It was a tapping black.
It must have been easy then.
It was easy.
Yeah.
And
what about George? Would George have got it?
George would have screamed at it and it would have gone in.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bit disappointing George ain't here, to be honest, because he's a good crack, George. I do like George. Have a good laugh with him.
Wrong angle here again, isn't it? It's,
No, he's not. He's fine.
oh, it's too thin.
No, he's not. Just a little bit of bottom.
Yeah, he can play it delicately.
This will grip. This will grip on the cloth. Come off the bottom rail. See, that's almost too. See, that's come off a bit softer than he thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what's he going to do, Nick? Just a little stun into the black and develop it?
I think he has to.
He'll have to, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wants to ideally catch the black half ball.
I think that's why he was looking at that so closely, because he definitely didn't want to be straight. But as you say, yeah, it has to be half ball. Half ball either side is fine.
Dead
Full
straight,
ball's no good. He might have got away with it.
Yeah, he might be all right there.
And it's a big pocket at the top corner as well. I think he's got away with this one.
Just got to be careful cueing it. He's very close, isn't he? But
yeah. They're hard to judge, though, aren't they?
They're really hard to judge. I mean, obviously he's going to be playing this at such. It's going to look like he's almost cueing the white towards the left middle pocket.
When you're so close to the balls, you obviously can't see the cueing angle. So you're leaving it a little bit to. It's almost like a jump shot, because you're playing from above, and you're not able to see the potting angle.
Well, he's probably not going to have to dig down, because he's just the white. He's going to be playing the white, almost aiming for the middle pocket, or that red near the middle pocket. That's probably where he's going to be aiming for. It just depends whether he chooses to take it off the red, or whether he chooses to go direct.
But it is a big pocket.
So just a little bit of a dig down to make sure he doesn't go straight enough.
No, he's not. There's no pace. He's not hit it. He's not hit it.
He had the line.
He had the perfect line. Oh, that's a howler. I mean, he did everything, but hit it hard enough.
Quit on it, didn't he? Quit on the shot. There's Kean back in shot. I just had a quick hello with Kean outside, and he said that he's playing well. He's going to do some damage. He said he don't care who he plays. He's going to smash him up. He said he is the best young player in the world at the moment, and whoever he plays, not interested, he's going to destroy him.
Dear me.
So I did.
Leave the poor bloke alone.
That's what he said to me just now.
Yeah,
that's what Keane's like. He's full of confidence, and so he should be. He's a great player. I did say to him that we welcomed him to the Supreme Pool Series, and who was his guest? He said that is his better half with him. Her name is Isla. I don't believe him that that's his missus. She's too fit for him. That's not his missus. That's someone that he's paid to come with him, I reckon.
Oh, Chris. Oh, Chris.
Well, we're going to see a snooker here, aren't we?
Yeah, but he's just not at the races, is he? Really not at the races. Now then.
So
bottom cushion.
With
left hand side.
Dig down with bottom
dig
left.
Dig down, bottom left.
Swerve back off this cushion.
Exactly.
Back up. Where's he going? That's definitely the shot on it. The shot is off the bottom cushion, dig down, play it with bottom left. So it hits this bottom cushion as you look at it.
Yeah.
Back up. Where's he going?
No, I prefer the other way. I prefer the other way simply because there's so much margin of error. There's a massive margin of error, and you've got to really have the. Even if you make a howler of it, you've still got a decent.
The thing is,
decent opportunity of hitting the cushion first and still potting it.
And he's
Hit this way.
Can't
he
pot
has. Well, you can, but it has to be absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll tell you what. If that was quicker.
Yeah.
If that was quicker, that was going in. But that should be this.
Chris Melling would have played that bottom rail first.
Oh, 100%.
For sure.
Of course he would. And we're not saying it was. It wasn't an easy shot, but if you make contact, you've got more chance of a pot going that way than going the way that he's chosen.
Giving yourself the best opportunity to make the pot, and going the way he was going, he needed a lot more luck. You see,
I'll tell you,
Adam Davis, the hawk-like or eagle-like look of Adam Davis just peering around that pole at the back. He's here doing business this weekend. Hopefully, he does the business this weekend, because I got a piece of him in the Calcutta.
Oh, yeah.
So,
he knocked me out the last event.
Yeah, hope he knocks you out this one as well.
Hassle. I'm gonna have to give you a little plug in a minute, aren't I? You are due a plug. I haven't mentioned you for a couple of frames. Have you accepted that friend request from Hussein yet? Can you get that done, mate? Because
I will.
At the Supreme Series, we like to be men of our word.
I got so many friend requests.
How many friend requests you got now? 17. Come on, keep them going, lads. Friend request: Nick Finn, PHINN. He's your man. So who have you got, mate? Did you say you got a piece of in the Calcutta? Just Adam Davis, or is there a few others you got? What you got, mate?
I've got interests in people that we've put into the event. but not so much in the Calcutta.
Who's that then? Can you share?
Jordan Shepherd,
Yep.
Greg Batten,
Yep.
and young Mr. Moulding over there has a percentage in this young gentleman who's playing on the table right now, Callum Singleton. He's got half of you, which is essentially worthless.
It's a waste. What a waste of money that is. It's the biggest waste of. Well, to be honest with you, if it was like I said to him, you've paid money for the group,
And
which has got you the players, including
he's got
Callum.
half of the dishes qualifier,
I'm
which
just
is
a freebie.
which could have been anyone, but ended up being Colin the showman Finn, and he's also got half of. He's got Sam Birchett,
So Sam.
and he's got half of Ryan Pisani.
So Sam
Who
Bircher.
could be your twin brother, actually.
Sam
Ryan
Bircher,
Pisani.
mate. Sam Bircher will play.
Fingers.
Will play Jake McCartney if Jake has come through that first match
I think he's already
later
won
on
it.
today.
I think he's already won it.
So therefore, Sam Bircher will be playing Jake McCartney later on.
Sorry, he's on the hill. He's 10-4 up against Scott Crawley. So that'll be an interesting game later as well. So Jack Whelan's still 8-6 up against Shane Thompson, as you mentioned a minute ago. Yeah. So we have little dabbles
Lots of
and
interest, mate.
little bits of interest
I haven't this
throughout
time.
the series.
This is the first time I haven't.
I quite like putting players into the series rather than buying them in the Calcutta, because obviously you get the interest over the 5 events.
Sure, yeah.
Rather than having to buy them 5 times. And I know it's probably more profitable to buy them in the Calcutta, but I just like. I'm here for the whole series, so I kind of like my interest to be spread across the whole series.
Yeah, this is the one of the first Calcuttas that I haven't dabbled in, to be honest.
Well, I saw you bid on one of the groups and lost it, didn't you?
I didn't lose it. I was just boosting the pot for a friend of mine. If I want to buy something, I buy it, and you know that. Plenty of Calcuttas where I've had good interest and some good returns and some good profits, but this time I just chose to stay off it. I'm going to try and stay off the Jaeger train this weekend, because every time I come here and damage 2 trays of Jaegers, it's not good.
No.
We have a good laugh, don't get me wrong, but for once I need to try and actually give it a good go instead of just messing around. That's a good shot, that is. Good shot. So this black, and it's going to be 9-7, and just make Callum think a little bit, because all of a sudden Chris is flowing a little bit now, isn't he?
He is flowing. He still doesn't look happy though. He's still a little bit niggly, and it shows the importance of that miss black down the red a second ago. It would now be 8 frames each.
Yeah, massive.
And yeah, absolutely huge. So it is 9-7 now, is it? Yeah. As we see the score tick across.
Right. 17th frame, Callum Singleton to break, leading 9 frames to 7.
Breaking news, guys. We've just been told that once the 10 VIP slots fill up on friend requests for Nick Finn, we'll then be moving over to another 10 VIPs, and that will be pool moulding. That's MOULDING. So once these 10 VIP friend requests have gone to Nick Finn, then we'll be over to pool moulding. One of the faces of Beard Productions. Beard Productions here all weekend at the Supreme Series, providing you with all of this high quality footage streaming. 4 tables that are on stream. Obviously you've got commentary on this one. Some of the games on one of the other tables there'll be some commentary, and the other 2 are just streams without commentary. But yeah, there's 4 games that you can have a look at. And I just seen in the background in the arena there that looks like Ronan McCarthy and Declan Brennan have turned up. The Irish contingent. Carl O'Donoghue will be here later as well. Let's hope that Ronan's remembered to bring his cue this time, because when he came to the last event, him and Declan he met Declan at the airport, and then all of a sudden Ronan realised that he'd left his cue at home and had to get his missus to drive his cue to the airport. Awesome. So yeah, we'll give you a little plug for that one, Ronan. Well done, mate. Anyway, as Reginald would say, back to the action, and Callum here on the reds, and as long as he can see that one to the middle, which I think he can, obviously red to the left middle, red to the bottom left, black to the right centre, and that will put him on the hill. Race to 11, and obviously if he winner will progress to the winner's side, the loser will go into the loser's section. So yeah, that's the first one out of the way. Excuse me. Quite sure why he's gone that way, but I thought to play a little controlled screw shot just to leave the white just off that side rail and black to the right middle, but maybe there was a lot more angle than it looked like. So instead it's going to be the black to the left middle to put him on the hill. And there it goes. So he obviously felt happier going that way around. I don't think he wanted to leave himself where he ended up, but the black has been sunk, and that is 10-7 to Callum. And what did I say pre-match, Nick? I said Callum, didn't I?
Yep.
I said it.
Yeah, I think we both fancied him. You can never say that anyone's a particular favourite against Chris Melling, but I know Callum is turning into a very, very rounded player. And I think he is the star of the future. I really do. I think he's got everything in his game. He's got all the fundamentals. When you watch him play, he's got a great cue action. He's got a really good solid stance. He's just got everything there. It looks like he possibly comes from a snooker background. He seems to have those kind of fundamentals around him. And I think, as I mentioned, he's a star of the future.
Yeah, he's smooth, isn't he? When you watch him at the table, he's controlled, he's composed. He can make the shots. I wouldn't say he's one of the the flair players out there. He doesn't come out with outrageous shots.
But you don't.
But then he doesn't need to, does he? Doesn't need to.
Who are the best players? I mean, Phil Harrison rarely plays anything that you would call even remotely flair.
No, don't need to. Does he?
He's just
doesn't need to,
because all the fundamentals are there. Everything's just compact. His cue ball is just exceptional. So you never have to do anything out of the ordinary, do you? It's,
the only thing you could say maybe is just those couple of balls he missed to the middle early doors. Maybe just a lapse of concentration.
Yep.
Maybe taking it for granted. But I'm not being funny. What pool player now and then doesn't miss something which you'd think was an absolute drop in?
I mean, those are pretty much a couple of the only ones that you could pick on. And I think the first one he played was quite tricky anyway.
And the scoreline's probably reflective, isn't it? I mean, Chris has made a few mistakes that have been very un-Chris Melling-like, hasn't he?
Yep.
The yellow to the bottom that he missed, the black that he missed. Two crucial balls that cost him frames at quite an important time, really.
Yeah. But let's not make any assumptions yet, because very quickly this could be 10 each.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that, if Chris clears here to make it 10-8, Callum breaks dry, reverse dish from Chris, and Chris can break dish the next one, then suddenly it's 10-all.
Suddenly we got
so it's these games, we see them swing with that kind of momentum so often. So never write these players off. At the moment, Callum's in the hot seat, and he's a strong favourite. But Chris Melling, if any player can turn this around, it's him.
The table does look awesome, doesn't it?
I think it looks
absolutely fantastic.
I think the red wrap, which I will take credit for, because we were striving for colours the other day, and I said, "What about red?"
Yeah, that was a good suggestion with the red obviously surrounding.
Paul
the
Moulding
background.
looking disgusting. But you know, we can pull up the chat box if you want and find out who suggested red first of all.
Mate, let's
You
just ignore. Listen, we need to ignore Paul Moulding, right? He's had one reverse dish,
Yeah,
and suddenly he's God.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
He thinks he's a knowledge
Oh
of the game
my
or
God.
something. I don't know.
So what he's done, I reckon that he's when he's had seen those balls in front of him, he's looked at them and thought, right, that's a chicken tikka toasty, that's a bacon toasty, that's a sausage toasty, and he's just cleared the lot like he does when he's got his plate. So we need to stop giving him credit. You ain't getting nothing back for me in this Calcutta. I was going to do quite well this weekend, but now he can do one.
Yeah.
So
You're just going to do it out of spite now. You're going to lose out of spite, aren't you?
well, I might get quite far, and then
Yeah.
when it's the crucial stage,
Just before
go,
the money.
Go, nah, here's what you could have won, mate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's what you could have won.
Perfect.
So yeah, 10-8, just like you said. Chris having a little chat. I think he might be chatting to Stefan Rosidi, I think was in that corner, wasn't
He
he?
is, yeah. And you see a couple of the Moroccans watching on in the background. A couple of the players that have travelled over.
Yeah, and there was quite a few. They were in early this morning practicing as well.
Mm.
The Moroccan contingent was in having a knock. Didn't have a clue what they were saying, but yeah, they were having a good knock on the tables.
I think they were. You probably didn't want to know. I expect it was insulting.
They were probably slacking me off.
Yeah, they were, for
They probably
sure.
were. They were going,
Sure.
who's that chopper over there?
Yeah.
Is he just lost that guy who operates a camera?
Yeah.
That's
Do
probably
you
what
remember
they
that
were
film, Click, with Ben Stiller, where he had a remote control? He could just click and...
saying. Fast forward.
yeah, so he could fast forward and basically...
It's not
also
Adam
it had Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler, mate.
It was Adam Sandler,
Yeah,
you're right.
I'll,
And it had a translate on it, so you could have just pressed the translate button and listened to what they were saying, but you
Brilliant.
probably didn't want to.
It's pretty much like all morning, me just correcting your wrongs. It's been a theme of the day, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Nick says something, I'll put him right. So I think, I'm guessing Callum's just gone for a quick comfort break.
19th frame.
Yeah.
And he's back.
Break.
So as
Back
you
in
can
shot.
see in the background, you can see the venue getting a bit busier now. Lots more players coming in.
Big
Busy
break, this
schedule of
one.
games.
This is a huge break in the context of the game. A dry one here,
Oh, don't say it, Nick.
and the next time he comes back to the table could be 10 apiece.
red and a yellow, I
Three
reckon.
balls, he's making 3 balls.
Red and a yellow off the break. There's
He's
one,
making
there's
3
two.
balls.
I said red and yellow. What was he made? Oh my God! Look at that! I said a red and a yellow. What's gone
Yeah,
down, Nick?
right. Okay.
Hey, what's gone down?
I'll tell you what, though.
Tell me.
Where's his
A
opener?
red and a yellow. Different gravy, Nick Finn.
Where's his opener?
I don't know, mate, but any chance for a bit of credit? Do you know what I'm saying? Any chance, mate? Oh, Jesus. Throw me a bone here.
Where's his opener? Does this one cut to bottom left? If it does, it's hampered queuing and it's extremely thin.
Which one are we on about? The red to the bottom left?
Yeah, the red to bottom left. I mean, there's no
He's
there's
not
no
going to go
yellows
for that,
available.
mate. He's either going to queue over the top and take the red to the left middle, I reckon, and then that would give him a bit of an angle to potentially cannon red and yellow.
This is a horrible opener. What an opener that is. That was a really, really tricky shot. Hampered queuing. And now he's pretty much in prime position. I think he can put this one to middle and just play a cannon onto the yellow above the red. And he's just going to open up the entire game with this one shot.
Yep.
That was a great opening shot.
Tough queuing that, straight over the top as well. It's,
Really?
he made it look easy, but that's tough queuing, that is.
Yep.
So this is the... So this is looking like a formality, and just these 4 reds to negotiate, and like most of the pool players will do now, is obviously take care of one end of the table first, transfer up to the other end of the table. So yeah, as I said, take care of these two reds at the bottom of the table and transfer up to the top. Take those two reds and the black. So a little bit more angle than he wanted, but not an issue. Just to stun up with a little bit of side.
Yep, perfect.
That's absolutely plumb.
A1.
So same again. You'll see him take this red to the top right, off the side cushion, back across the table. Red probably in the same pocket, unless he wants to just drop this in and take the red to the left middle. He's got so many options here, Nick. Even Paul Moulding would finish these.
I think the preference would be just a little stun shot. Just leave the white just above the bulk line and play it into middle, just like that. That's the simplest way of doing it. Often people get tied up, hung up on trying to pop balls in certain pockets, but the least amount of travel with the cue ball, we call it economy of cue ball.
But even that shot, sorry to interrupt you, mate, even that shot there where he's played that with a tiny bit of stun, and look how much it reacted.
Yeah.
And even though he's going to miss this, it's a lot more angle than what he actually wanted, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
So, Mr. Finn, just this black to the right middle, mate, and that will be a great 11-8 victory for Callum Singleton. That's a great result.
That is a top win. Well done to Callum Singleton, and that's fantastic. See Ronan McCarthy watching on the background there. So well done to him. Chris Melling's not out. He's going to go across into the losers section now. And Callum marches on into the winners side second round. Not sure who he's got next. I think he's got a tough draw up next. I think he's got Scott Gillespie.
Let's have a.
I believe.
Whilst we're still on.
If he hasn't got Scott Gillespie next, he's got him in the round after. It is Gillespie next, yeah.
Gillespie next.
Yeah, so he's got a tough route, but I tell you what, that's one kid that can come through it.
And there's the trophy, guys. That is the trophy that everyone wants to try and get their hands on this weekend. That trophy and the £5,000 first prize.
So we're going to just step away from the action for a minute. We're going to try and get Callum into the interview room and just have a few words with him about his feelings on the game. We'll see you across there in a couple of minutes. You can see the names changing for the next game. It's going to be Adam Davis. I'm not sure who Adam's playing.
It looks like he's playing Chris Mellon, unless that changes.
That will be changing in just a few seconds. Do we know who Adam's playing?
Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see, shall we?
I'm sure I can...
if we delay a minute, we might see it.
I can look it up. Incidentally, Jack Winner is now 10-7 up against Shane Thompson.
There you go. Adam, yeah, it's a great game. Adam Davis will be playing John McAllister next.
Oh wow, what a great game that is! Yeah. So
and it's just changed on the screen.
There it is. Yeah.
Thanks for
fantastic.
Thanks for having me on board, Nick.
All the other games are now in action. In fact, Kian Moynihan's just opened his account against Jamie Burnett. That's one frame piece. If you want to keep up with those scores, it's qscore.com. Thanks to Adam Penwell for joining us.
It's been a pleasure. And just finally, just remember, guys, that VIP friend request, there's still a few spots left. It's Nick Finn, P-H-I-N-N, Nick Finn. Cheers, guys. Ta-da.
See you, mate.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm joined by Callum Singleton just to get his thoughts on that game. Callum, a tough opening draw against Chris Melling, but I'm sure you've probably taken a lot from last year. Probably learnt a lot in those games against Tom Cousins as well, so you know how to get across the winning line. You opened your account really well there, break condition the first frame, so that's settled you in. You seem to find the pace of the table really quickly.
Yeah, something that I don't usually do. I started off really well, put them under the pressure, and got my reward in the end. There was a few bits in the middle of the game where I thought it might come back and bite me, but played well and look forward to the next round. Chris is one of the best players in the tournament, and I look up to him a lot when I'm playing.
Yeah.
He's one of the best shot makers I've ever seen. I just tried not to give him as many shots as I can, really. Just
almost flawless. I mean, you missed a couple of balls in the middle, but generally, I mean, you've got to be happy with that performance.
Yeah, I'm really happy. Practice is paying off. Because I said to my sponsor this year, I'm going to start playing 3 or 4 times a week solid, and just showing, really is. So hopefully I can continue it on the rest of it. I mentioned on comms a couple of times, and I mentioned a second ago about last year. You had a couple of deep runs. There was that key game against Tom Cousins where you probably had a chance to push him out the tournament. Had a bit of a tweak, but I think you've kind of learned from that. You become a stronger player for it. And I say the best players probably just take those moments and turn them into a positive, and I think you've done that. Yeah, I think it was the last event. I was 9-6 up on Chris, and I had a shot on a black, which I should have got, and then he come back to beat me 11-9. So I learnt my lesson from last time and just tried to keep him off the table, really.
So is this series now about getting deeper again? I mean, it's last year seemed to be a learning experience for you. So it's now just about taking it to the next level. Good expectations?
Yeah, I think it's more trying to get to the consistency. Yeah. You know, I won the World Masters last year, and last year I don't think I've really done anything since that. So I just want to try and be like Phil Harrison is, like so consistent, and players like that, really.
Yeah, and that's someone to emulate as well.
Yeah, definitely. Another one, Liam Dunster, he's always at the back end of the tournament, so just want to keep fighting to the end, really.
Brilliant.
Hopefully get the run of the balls.
Congratulations, that's a great win. Another massive game coming up next. Scott Gillespie?
Yeah.
Is that the next round?
No, I think it's Jimmy Croxton.
You got Jimmy Croxton, possibly Scott later on.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's it.
Doesn't get any easier, does it?
No.
But just keep your confidence. I tell you what, you keep performing like that every chance.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Definitely.
Thanks very much. Thanks for joining me.
Cheers, Nick.
Cheers, Callum. So that was Callum Singleton, a young man with a great future in the game, in my opinion. Next up in the action is Adam Davis against John McAllister. We'll go over to that game in just a few minutes. We'll see you very soon.
When they were both like check side on it, it was like stopping.